Please welcome ACUI President Sarah Aikman of Northern Kentucky University.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the annual meeting of the delegates and the induction of the leadership. This gathering will serve as the annual business meeting for our members, a time set aside at the conference over the last several years to receive reports and to introduce the newly elected Board of Trustees. We have continued our new tradition of Procession of the Regions, and soon we will once again induct the leaders of the association through our oath ceremony. Joining me at the head table are the officers of the association, which include the President, the President-elect, J. Scott Derrick, and the Chief Executive Officer, John Taylor, who serves as the Secretary-Treasurer. The parliamentarian and those who have been asked to give reports also join us on stage today. To officially start our program this morning, the board has appointed Brad Vest of Appalachian State University as our parliamentarian. Brad, will you come forward and share the procedures for our business meeting today?
It's my pleasure to serve as this year's parliamentarian for the 2016 ACUI Gathering of the Delegates. Very few times in the modern era has such a conclave of knowledge, only matched by its own superior charm, assembled in one location. To know that this mass of humanity was able to overcome the temptations and consequences of the previous evening is simply amazing. So, in true Southern charm, I invite you to kick your shoes off and y'all stay for a while. For in the South, there are no strangers, just friends we haven't met yet. For those who don't understand what I just said, well, bless your heart. Before we begin, I'd like to highlight a few of the standards for the annual business meeting. General characteristics of the business meeting. The association conference shall include a business meeting to permit adequate opportunity for the membership to review the activity of the association and to participate in its affairs. Speaking on the issues. All delegates of institutional members of the association are eligible to speak on matters considered in the business meeting. Included among these delegates are those persons holding individual memberships, which includes students, faculty, and staff, other staff members employed on a full-time basis under auspices of the institutional delegate, students officially representing the association's regions, those persons holding honorary membership. Full-time staff of institutional members, individual members, and students representing the regions may submit written resolutions and legislative proposals to the executive director for the consideration of the institutional members at the business meeting. Resolutions involving the Constitution, bylaws, or articles of incorporation may be proposed in writing by any full-time staff of institutional members, individual members, and students officially representing the regions to the executive director of the association, not less than 30 days before the opening of the conference. None have been submitted at this time. Thank you.
I hope you took note of the many achievements of the association we shared in the video format yesterday. In addition to those, we have 6 reports from key areas of association business during the last year. To start us off, Sarah Comstock of the University of Puget Sound will provide an update on the campus shooting dialogue planning team.
Winston-Salem State University, Region 3. North Carolina Central University, Region 3. Tennessee State University, Region 3. Texas Southern University, Region 2. Northern Arizona University, Region 1. Umpqua Community College, Region 4, Delta State University, Region 3, Sacramento City College, Region 1, Wichita State University, Region 2, Johnson C. Smith University, Region 3, Delaware State University, Region 7, Wayne Community College, Region 3, Bethune-Cookman University, Region 3, University of South Carolina, Region 3. Good morning. The 14 schools that I just listed had a shooting on their campus that resulted in injury or death. Those are the only colleges and universities, and only those that occurred in 2015. At least 2 of those universities or schools had multiple shootings last year. 5 out of our 8 regions were affected by this kind of violence. Kind of gives you pause, doesn't it? Now, I can honestly say that there are a lot of places that I would rather be this morning than in front of all of you talking about shootings on our campuses. The topic is pretty terrifying, heartbreaking, and seemingly too enormous of a problem for us to solve. But when I think about these shootings, I'm reminded by a poem by Pastor Martin Niemöller that many of you probably know. First, they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Now, it might be a stretch for you, but for me, this poem is a reminder that while we're all horrified and saddened by the tragedies that happen so far away and to people that we probably don't know, up until this point that we really as an association had done very little to be an active part of the solution. Maybe we had hoped that someone else would address it or that the problem would go away completely, but unfortunately neither has happened. In October, after the shooting at Umpqua Community College, our CEO, John Taylor, asked volunteers to begin processing how ACUI could be involved in this national crisis. In the past few months, this team has put an amazing amount of work into tackling this discussion, and if possible, I'd like to take a moment to introduce them to you. If you're in the room, please stand when I call your name briefly. Michael Henthorne, Oregon State University. Thomas Lane, Missouri State University. Trinity Gonzalez, Florida State University. Mike Makoski, Fitchburg State University. Francisco Chacon, University of Denver. Jill Zambito, Northern Illinois University. Pat Brown, University of Vermont. Jesse Stewart, University of Oregon. David Smith and Zach Walquist from the central office. Thank you all. So as I said, for the past few months, this dedicated group of association members has been working to bring the discussion to the forefront. We posted online, we've researched statistics, articles, and other resources, and we will be offering sessions here in New Orleans about different aspects of college shootings and campus violence. But we also recognize we need to go further because while the conversation has started, it cannot stop here. Which brings me to the week of dialogue, which many of you may have already heard about. During the week of April 25 through 29, we want you as campuses and campus personnel to commit to hosting events that, while emotionally challenging, are absolutely necessary. Our hope is that you have conversations that are unique to your campus and meet your community in the place that both challenges them and provides resources on how they can become engaged in this discussion. We know that this discussion is not an easy one to have, so we're helping to prepare you by constructing prepackaged programs, marketing, and assessment tools. The programs cover a range of topics, including discussing how masculinity intersects with violence, creating your own run, hide, fight video, and discussing how your union might respond to a tragic incident like this. The marketing tools then also were created to show a unified effort through ACUI. In addition to those sessions, during the next few days, the Campus Shooting Dialogue team will be hosting a series of boards in the marketplace. Those boards contain questions that pertain to the larger issue of campus shootings, but also give you an opportunity to pledge your support to the week of dialogue. As a team, we are looking at each of you to participate in some way, whether it be training your student leaders to better understand and recognize crisis-level behaviors or larger programs that bring the campus together to talk about building more compassionate communities. Any effort, large or small, is welcomed. Addressing the issues surrounding campus shootings will take a community-based, multifaceted, sustained effort, and there is no better group than ACUI to lead that charge. Thank you.
Next, ACUI's Director of Content Curation, Elizabeth Beltramini, will provide an update related to our diversity and inclusion plans.
Thank you. So a year ago, I stood before you and talked about ACUI's benchmarking project, in which we had used the global standards for diversity and inclusion to assess the association's efforts. There were 4 areas that stood out that needed some work. They were workforce, education, assessment, and communication. I'm happy to say that while we have made some progress, we haven't done it in isolation. So we've pulled together a Council for Diversity and Inclusion, and I have the pleasure of working with 10 volunteers and staff in a strategic effort versus occasional interventions. The way we've approached the task at hand is to look at our workforce initially, both staff and volunteer, in a focused effort around training and support, and then we're broadening that for the association's membership, and then we'll look at higher education as a whole. In terms of the recent needs assessment and the areas that we have focused on, in workforce, we've been concerned about the lack of visual diversity represented among staff and volunteers. So we've been examining our volunteer recruitment and selection efforts, as well as creating standards for recruitment and selection of staff. I personally have undergone some training. I received a certificate from Cornell University in diversity and inclusion management, which has helped in this effort. For staff training, we have done several workshops focused on the business case for diversity, implicit bias, microaggressions, and privilege, and we're now in the process of rolling those out to our volunteers. In terms of the educational efforts that we have conducted, in 2015, I'm happy to say that all regional conferences included a component addressing intercultural proficiency, which is one of our core competencies. Additionally, all of our face-to-face programs in 2015 included intercultural proficiency as well. And then several of our online learning programs, 6 in 2015 and 2 already this year, have addressed that core competency. We're currently in the process of exploring grant funding to conduct a research summit on diversity and inclusion in the profession. In terms of communication, we're exploring partnerships with other organizations who are active in the diversity and inclusion space. Our board has recently worked to address our commitment to multiculturalism and action. And this is also an aspect of the Future of the Brand Task Force, which you'll hear about in a moment. In terms of assessment, we're looking at our internal systems and examining those. It was a key component of the needs assessment conducted in the fall. We're examining our supplier diversity, and we're looking at our climate, both in terms of our membership, our volunteers, and as well as our staff. I'm hopeful that you will engage in this effort. There's certainly more work to be done, and feel free to approach myself or a member of the Council for Diversity and Inclusion, who will be available after the keynote at the end of the ballroom. Thank you.
I will now ask Jason Klein, Strategic Initiatives Executive, to provide an overview and update on the work of the Future of the Brand Task Force.
Thank you, Sarah. Good morning. My name is Jason Klein, and I am the chair of the Future of the Brand Task Force, a group charged with determining if ACUI's brand still aligns with the needs of the population it serves. Before I share the timeline of the project and what has already been accomplished, I would like to acknowledge my fellow task force members whose names are on the screens. The Board of Trustees created this task force in July of 2015 to assess perceptions of ACUI from both inside and outside the organization. The task force spent its first few meetings discussing our own perceptions, as well as ACUI's current audiences. We then used that information to create the RFP used to solicit proposals from external agencies to help us in the process. The next 2 months were spent conducting research. Each task force member created a sub-team that helped create questions for the branding survey that was distributed last month. In addition, task force members analyzed and reported on other association brands, the survey results, other association brand audits, and a collection of ACUI print and electronic materials were sent to the selected agency so they could assess our brand before attending this conference. As you've heard, Liz Williamson and Adam Schuler from McKinley Advisors will be here later today through tomorrow conducting interviews with conference delegates to gain a better understanding of ACUI and its brand. Please take some time to speak with them should they approach you or seek them out yourself. Following the conference, they will submit their findings to us. We will use all of the information collected to assess if a new brand is necessary for the association. If so, the next steps would be to design new concepts, test them, select one, and then implement it. The new brand would be officially initiated at the 2017 conference in Philadelphia. If you have any questions about this process, please feel free to contact me, any task force member, or a member of the Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Next, representing the Finance Committee via video is Mike Coleman, who will provide a finance update.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a fun and productive conference. In an effort to provide you, the members, with the most direct and transparent information possible, I would like to take a few minutes on behalf of the ACUI Board of Trustees and the Central Office to provide you with a brief finance update. The association's fiscal year runs from January to December, and while we are still in the process of closing out the 2015 fiscal year, I'm very pleased to report that we had another solid year. The association is in good fiscal health. Each year, ACUI participates in an external audit, and in this audit, there is an extensive review of ACUI's financial statements, revenue, and expenses. This was an exciting year, as volunteers and the Board of Trustees crafted a new strategic plan. The board was intentional to align the ACUI finances with the strategic direction of the plan. And by doing this, we are also able to work to grow the annual net income so that ACUI can continue to develop the necessary programs and services to support its members in their campus community building efforts. It is also important to know that ACUI has financial reserves to guard against any major loss, emergency, or crisis. The association has been working to meet the goal of having 50% of the annual operating income in reserves, or approximately $1.7 million. Currently, ACUI has approximately $585,000 in reserve. Our policy is to contribute 5% of the net revenue each year until we reach that goal of $1.7 million. All of the reserves and available operating cash are invested under the guidance of a financial advisor in compliance with our investment policy. The Board of Trustees distributes income from these investment plans to funds when needed. ACUI is committed to creating a strong association that is transparent and nimble in its finances. We strongly encourage members to reach out to the Central Office staff or the Board of Trustees if you have any questions regarding the ACUI finances. We will gladly make information available to any interested member. Finally, it has been an honor to serve on the Board of Trustees for you, and I would like to thank the Central Office staff for their commitment to ACUI and its members. And I would also like to thank all of the delegates here today. You are what make ACUI great. Thank you, and please continue to have a wonderful conference experience.
And now we will hear from Joe Katowski, representing the Governance Committee of the Board of Trustees.
Mike gets video and effects, so it's a hard act to follow. Good morning. My name is Joe Gutowski. I'm the Director of Student Activities in the Strebel Student Center at Utica College. I've been honored to chair as the Governance Committee Chair for the Board of Trustees this past year. We have made a strong level of activity in a number of different areas during the past 12 months. With the transition to a new CEO, one of our goals has been to begin the review of policies, procedures, and our governing documents. This review has taken place throughout the year, and the following policies were either enacted or updated during this current year: the Emergency Leadership Transition Policy, formal procedures for the board to determine the number of at-large members in a particular election, and the ACUI procedure on public statements. Prior to the start of this conference, the board had an opportunity to review other policy recommendations and approved updates to the paid time off policy to be inclusive of military leave, the conflict of interest policy to include ACUI staff, and the policy against acts of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation to include language specific to retaliation. In addition, as Liz mentioned earlier, thanks in large part to the work of the Council for Diversity and Inclusion, the board accepted an updated commitment to multiculturalism and action vision statement, which reaffirms, strengthens, and enhances the organization's dedication to inclusivity in all aspects of the association. Finally, within this area, a round of constitutional and bylaw changes that look to simplify the language of the documents and allow us to better reflect more modern-day operations were submitted to the membership last month, and with 12.9% of all institutional contacts voting, I am pleased to announce that the changes were approved. This is the beginning of a multi-year review, and we anticipate that additional changes will be brought forward to the membership in the future. In the fall of 2015, we engaged in the selection process for the student member of the Board of Trustees. Following an update to the job description of the student member to allow for more direct connections to student volunteers, the board received 8 very competitive applications from both undergraduate and graduate students and conducted interviews with each candidate. After careful consideration and much deliberation, our interview and selection team, consisting of J. Scott Derrick, Dr. John Taylor, Morgan Bell, and myself, recommended to the board that Emily Reynolds of Indiana University be named as the student board member for the coming year, a recommendation that was approved by the board. We are especially grateful to Emily for accepting the position, to all candidates who applied and showed interest in the position, and to Justin Rudisil from the central office for all of his assistance behind the scenes in collecting information and marketing of the position. In December 2015, the board participated in our second annual board evaluation. In our efforts to be better at our volunteer jobs, we believe that it is especially critical for us to understand where we are as a board and where we need to improve. The board took time during their meeting prior to the conference to look at this year's evaluation and will work to address areas of growth in the coming year. The governance committee made some strong strides during the year, and under the leadership of Dr. Kelly Schaefer, will continue to do great work in the coming year. On behalf of the committee, I'd like to extend my thanks and my thanks to Dr. Don. There's a lot, but it's still early. The committee wishes to extend its thanks to Dr. John Taylor, Jason Klein, Elizabeth Beltramini, Sarah Aikman, the members of the central office and the Board of Trustees for their support of our work and for my experiences over the past 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Jeremy Schenk will now give a summary of the new strategic plan that was approved by the board in December.
Good morning. My name is Jeremy Schenk, and I'm the director of the University Student Commons and Activities Office at Virginia Commonwealth University, and I chaired the Strategic Plan Development Core Team. Today, I wanted to update the association on the 2016-2018 Strategic Plan. The purpose of the ACUI Strategic Plan is to provide a roadmap for the association over the next 3 years. It's a tool for the Board of Trustees as they prioritize strategic activities. It informs the central office operational plan, and it provides context and direction for the ACUI component groups. It provides strategic direction for the association, allowing the central office, the board, and the leadership team to create specific measures for how to get there. The Board of Trustees is charged with organizing and overseeing the development, assessment, and communication of the strategic plan. The progress and achievement of goals and objectives are shared with the membership through the ACUI website, Commons posts, and bulletin articles. In December of 2014, the Board of Trustees appointed a Strategic Plan Development Core Team and charged the team to develop a 3-year comprehensive strategic plan for the association designed to allow for adjustments and flexibility in response to a dynamic environment. The team reviewed internal data, conducted environmental scans to look at external factors facing the college union and student activities profession and the association, and conducted focus groups with diverse range of members through various forums, including focus groups at the annual conference last year. The Strategic Plan Development Core Team presented a draft plan at the 2015 July Leadership Team meeting, gathered feedback, presented a plan to the association at regional conferences and through virtual town hall meetings, and made a final recommendation to the board in December, where the plan was passed unanimously. The plan's overarching strategic vision is for the ACUI to be the innovative, responsive, and inclusive leader in creating progressive education, training, and research in college unions and student activities, to excel in meeting member needs, impacting student learning, and enhancing campus communities. The plan includes 3 specific directions with many action steps under each direction. Our 3 strategic directions are: Strategic Direction 1, membership will be accessible to and representative of everyone associated with the college union and student activities. Please take a moment to review action items under this direction, and you'll be able to see that on the website. All right. So let's see if we can we bring it down just a little bit? Strategic Direction 2. Thank you. Broaden revenue streams. You'd think I was involved in the writing of this. So Strategic Direction 2, broaden revenue streams and continually implement best practices for the management of ACUI and other associations. Strategic Direction 3, be a leader in the college union and student activities research, education, and advocacy. The Board of Trustees has begun working with Central Office and the leadership team component groups to ensure that the strategic plan strategies are included in the ACUI goals, operational plan, and discussed through the budget process. To assess the complete strategic plan, to learn more, and to see all of those action items I was talking about before, you can visit www.acui.org/strategic-plan. Thank you for your input and feedback throughout the creation of this plan. ACUI is what it is today because of you, our membership, taking such an active role in building our association's community. Have a great conference.
All right, next we will return to a time-honored tradition of officially inducting the leadership team at the beginning of their year of service. While ACUI prides itself on being informal in many ways, there are certain times when the formality of a ceremony is appreciated. We believe that it is appropriate for those individuals who assume the responsibility of guiding the association to pledge their commitment before the assembled body. As we prepare to induct volunteers into these positions, we want to demonstrate to them that the membership of the association support them in their commitment. So at this time, I would like the membership here assembled to rise, if you are able, and offer your pledge of support to the volunteers who are about to be inducted. As members of the Association of College Unions International, do you pledge your support, your encouragement, your expertise, and your knowledge to assist these volunteers as they work for the advancement of the association and our profession? If so, please signify by saying, "I will." I will. Thank you. You may be seated. At this time, I ask President-elect J. Scott Derrick to come forward and present the names of those who will serve the association in leadership roles in 2016-17.
Thank you, President Aikman. At this time, I would ask the following ACUI leadership team members to come forward as their names of your group is called and to stand before our assembly. Scroll. Our central office staff, whom you will meet in detail later today. Right here. Our regional directors, Carol Dowell, California State University, Dominguez Hills, Region 1. Wendy Morgan, Texas A&M University Commerce, Region 2. Mandy Bryson, College of Charleston, Region 3. Kristen Rollins, University of Colorado Boulder, Region 4. Scott Moss, Creighton University, Region 5. Joe Hayes, Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, Region 6. IUPUI, that is. Michael Patterson, SUNY New Paltz, Region 7. Laura DeRoss, Tufts University, Region 8. Our Education Council members, Missy Burgess, University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. Ann Comerford, Western Illinois University. Alistair Cowie, University of Sydney. Kim Haynes, the University of Brockport. Krista Harrell, University of South Alabama. Tammy Kuhn, Michigan State University. Jamie Riley, University of California, Berkeley. Charlie Salas, Texas State University, San Marcos. Ashley Wilson, University of Texas, Tyler. And our special appointments, Laura Ballou, University of Rochester, Volunteer Development Coordinator. Yeah, you got to get in the rhythm, folks. Leah Barrett, the College of Brockport, Research Coordinator. There you go. Tina Bennett, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, ACUI, Education and Research Fund Chair. You might as well just stop it. We're never going to get it. Matthew Duquette, Florida State University, the Council for Advancement of Standards Liaison. Michael Makoski, Fitchburg State University, Corporate Partners Development Team Leader. Heather Nunes, Virginia Commonwealth University, Student Programs Team Leader. Susan Payment, College of Charleston, the 2017 Conference Program Team Chair. Jennifer Hernandez, University of South Florida, 2018 Conference Program Team Chair. And our 2016-17 Board of Trustees, Ian Crone, Elmhurst College. Brenda Evans, University of Massachusetts Lowell. Trinity Gonzalez, Florida State University. Emily Reynolds, Indiana University Bloomington. Kelly Schaefer, Northwestern University. Molly Ward, not Tulane University, but Weber State University instead. That's okay, I just read the teleprompter. I'm sorry. Sorry, Molly. Jennifer Zamora, University of Texas, Austin. John Taylor, ACUI CEO. Sarah Aikman, past president, Northern Kentucky University. Jeff Pelletier, president-elect, The Ohio State University. And I'm J. Scott Derrick, president. I think I am. Right now, I just don't know. University of North Carolina, Charlotte. I'm reading that off the teleprompter. President Aikman, I present to you the members of the 2016-17 ACUI leadership team.
Thank you, J. Scott. Would the 2016-17 ACUI leadership team please raise your right hand? You have chosen to serve at the highest level of our association. You have been selected by fellow members, and your selection has been confirmed by the Board of Trustees in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws of our association. Insomuch as you have consented to serve the Association of College Unions International, I ask you to pledge the following. Do you pledge to follow the Constitution and bylaws of ACUI and uphold its core mission of advancing campus community building? If so, please say I will. Will you, to the best of your ability, serve the association, its members, and our extended profession following our core values of unconditional human worth, joy, learning, caring community, innovation, diversity, and integrity? If so, please say I will. By the power vested in the Board of Trustees by the membership of this association, you are now officially inducted into the 2016-17 ACUI leadership team. Congratulations, and you may be seated. Although the ceremonial handing of the gavel will occur at our closing banquet, I hereby transfer the authority of President to J. Scott Derrick.
Well, at least we know that the biggest issue over the next year is how to read a teleprompter. And I pledge that I will try to be better at reading teleprompters. I'll be very brief here, folks. The upcoming year is going to be an extremely busy one for our association. We're in the first year of the new strategic plan, which you heard parts of here today, and recommendations. I love my friend Jeremy. We're in the first year of that new strategic plan. Recommendations on the brand, ACUI brand, will be made by the Future of the Brand Task Force. We're hoping for our full membership to be engaged with all of the programs that we're going to be involved in this coming year. The Board of Trustees, we pledge to continue moving the association forward with the help of our volunteers on both a regional and an international level. I look forward to serving you as president in the coming year. And it's going to be a wild ride, folks. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who provided a report on the amazing work of the volunteers and staff of the association have done this year. I just thought I'd share a couple of additional highlights before we move on. The Board of Trustees created a Council for International Engagement. The Council for International Engagement is composed of 2 regional membership coordinators, 1 international member, 2 at-large members, and 1 central office staff liaison, with the charge of examining avenues and best practices for each region to develop international and cultural experiences and programs, ensuring that international and cultural programs are facilitated by individual regions, be coordinated with other regions and the central office. Exploring opportunities to connect international members to volunteer openings, programs, and educational services. Encouraging cross-cultural learning for college union and higher education issues as student development, leadership, social justice, sustainability, higher education funding, and human rights initiatives, and reporting back to the board regularly on its progress. This council is currently seeking volunteers, so if you're interested you may find out more information on the ACUI website, and applications for this position are due April 22nd. Once again, I wanted to thank the Education and Research Fund for their Day of Giving that took place on December 4th, 2015. It was a great first-year effort, and congratulations to the Education and Research Fund for your hard work in developing this concept, and a big thanks to everyone that contributed to the Day of Giving. No worries, if you didn't donate this year, you will have an opportunity to donate next year to the annual Education and Research Fund Day of Giving. And please consider making a donation here at the conference. And all of this great work happened during a year of transition to a new CEO. It was amazing to see how the central office staff and the volunteers never missed a beat during this transition. We kept the association moving forward. It has been a pleasure serving as your president for this year of transition. Thank you to the central office for all you do. You're an amazing group of people. Thank you to all the volunteers. All right. Thank you to all the volunteers who gave their time outside of their real jobs. Without each of you, we would not have had such a successful year. Thank you for allowing me to serve as president of this outstanding organization. Okay. Okay, now the really exciting part of the meeting. Okay, the board has received 3 questions in advance from the membership, which our CEO, John Taylor, will respond to now. And if the remaining 2015-16 Board of Trustees could join us on stage. After that, we will open the floor, so if you have a question in the audience, you can work your way to the microphones in the aisles. I know we don't have tons of time, and Dave will give me the signal when time is up, but We will move to the question and answer portion of the meeting of the delegates.
There's additional seats. As Sarah said, there were 3 questions that were submitted electronically prior to the conference. The first question was from Adam Burton at UNC Charlotte. I would like to know more about the process the board uses to select future annual conference sites, and if any other sites have been determined beyond the 2021 location in New York City that is posted on the ACUI website. So first, the central office conducts an analysis, where we've been in the past, where membership is concentrated, what markets have facilities that can hold our event. We try to have this conference in one facility, and so that constrains us a little bit. So sort of a one-box property. Once the analysis is conducted, we select potential cities, consider the geographical rotation. There's nothing specific, but we do consider where we've been before across the United States. We send out an RFP to viable conference site locations and the hotels, and to see their interest as well. And finally, we evaluate the proposals based on the cost to the membership and the support that we would expect in the area to create a great conference experience for attendees. We have not signed any contract locations, conference locations, beyond 2021. The current market actually is not to our advantage. The hotels actually have the advantage right now, and so we're cautious. So we're 5 years out. And we want to make sure that we have the best possible return for our members. So even though the market is favoring hotels, we're beginning to do the analysis right now on potential future sites so that we're ready in case the market changes and as we get closer. So related to this question, the board also had good conversation this week on a decision by NASPA, our sister association, to create a policy on site selection. ACUI is very much in alignment with the processes that are indicated in NASPA's conference site selection document. And the values that this association holds dear, like human rights and inclusion, are central to any decision-making process. At the same time, there was consensus on the board that a policy on conference site selection is more prescriptive than necessary. The feeling was that it would be more appropriate for the board to communicate a value statement on the topic or guiding principles. The balance the board is trying to achieve is one of conveying confidence in to the membership that we have good practices in conference site selection that align with our values and not wanting to be too prescriptive in such a dynamic environment. The board will put thoughtful consideration into the best approach and will share with the membership something more akin to guiding principles or a value statement. Question number 2 was from Adam Burton at UNC Charlotte. Communities of practice are coming up on 8 years since they were introduced. What type of assessments and evaluations have been done on community of practices to determine their strengths, weaknesses, and future of the community of practices? Also, has there been any consideration given to including COP leaders as part of the international leadership team, similar to Ed Councils, special appointees, or RDs? First, with assessments. Community of practices are included in larger association assessments, such as the recent association-wide needs assessment that was conducted. Past efforts have also included looking at how many members are in each community and activity on the Community of Practice Forum. However, we realize that that may not be the best avenue to gauge involvement, as other tools beyond the ACUI Forum were being used by Community of Practices. So this may be more of a signal of satisfaction with the ACUI Forum than anything else. Additional assessments have looked at community leaders. Does the COP have a community leader? How engaged is the leader? What type of support does the leader need? We've been able to track how many people are participating in online meetings, engagement of community members through email, that type of thing. Where we are going in the future, though, is to look at a better technology tool for community of practices to use for communication and engagement. I envision us having something within the next year. Now, oh yeah, you can clap, that's okay. Now, adding community of practice to the leadership team. There are currently 20 community of practice groups, and that continues to grow. 15 years ago, our association made a decision to move to a knowledge-based organization. We said the best way for us to conduct business is to be focused on our products and services, but to have communities available for members to engage on issues, to discuss common practices, and for topics that touch on a smaller constituent group. The communities replaced constituency-based committees, with the Education Council as the only designated group listed in our bylaws. The board has the ability to create working groups or make special appointments, so it is possible that the focus of a community of practice could be part of an appointed working group. However, I have a hard time seeing the leadership team growing significantly. The final question that we received came from Stephanie Knight at the University of North Texas. Are there any plans to make major updates to the association website? I know that many members have consistent issues with accessing the many resources that are available due to the site's many technical glitches. The short answer is yes. There is no question that there are challenges with the website and there are interrelated issues. We are taking a broad look at how we can significantly improve our technology delivery. We are currently exploring short-term fixes by considering a third-party provider. Over the next year, we plan to assess which parts of our website we need to manage ourselves and whether there are parts that can be better supported through third-party providers. So for example, when you went to a website, there are static pieces and there are dynamic pieces. And we may be able to say, maybe the static we can do, but the dynamic we get some help. That's sort of the thought process. We also plan to research a new web content management system and to examine a better tool for supporting our communities of practices. So in summary, what we are really trying to do is to think differently about technology so we can improve our services and including our website. Thank you.
All right. I'm being really told that we're out of time. So is there anybody that has a burning question they would like to ask at the microphone? Okay. John Ginsberg has a burning piece of information.
Hello, everyone. John Ginsberg, Clackamas Community College. I just wanted to add to the answer that John gave to the first question. Many years ago, in a different lifetime, I was a graduate intern at the central office, and we did a survey on site selection. We asked people what were the most important factors in if you're able to attend a conference, and they were all based on cost. And then we asked people, what cities do you want to go to? And they chose the most expensive cities. Also, with regard to properties, I believe the last time that the conference was in a multi-site location was Albuquerque, despite the fact that it was my hometown, and I was very excited about it being there. I recall people saying, never again do we want to be in a city where we can't all be in one hotel because it really destroyed the community that we were in. So I thought that was helpful to know.
All right. Well, thank you for your questions. The board is available throughout the conference. If you were to have additional questions, please find one of us, and we would be happy to answer those questions. Here, I'm going to go old school. Right here. I'll just go old school. All right. Thank you for joining us this morning. Please return to your seats for the general session with Bree Newsome. We will begin at 10:15, which is right now. I hereby declare the meeting of the delegates and the induction of the leadership concluded. Thank you.